Hello everybody, Shelly here. And yes, I've started with some makeup and then I realized I should probably turn my camera on because, you know, I wanted to actually film this today. Today, we're looking at a whole bunch of Physicians Formula makeup. I was gonna do like a full face of Physicians Formula makeup, and I actually already filmed this video once and half of it got corrupted, so I have to redo it again anyway. But I'm kind of glad because some of the things I hadn't ever used before, some products all from the same company, but I hadn't used them before on the same face at the same time, and I gotta be honest, I wasn't really impressed with it. So I'm trying to narrow down which ones I liked the least, and I think I have a pretty good idea. So I'm gonna talk you through some of it. The reason why I'm refilming this and not just kind of scrapping the whole concept is I've used a palette that I've been seeing for a very long time. I did a look that I just was really excited about, so I thought I'd try to recreate it for you guys, and I hope you're okay with that. Only doing one look today, not gonna, you know, consume a bunch of your time with a bunch of different looks. Not gonna actually apply every single product that I already have on since I've already kind of started it. But I'll show you what I've got here and my thoughts on each of them, as I've got like pretty much a whole face of Physicians Formula stuff. Now, why Physicians Formula? It seems like you can get Physicians Formula in a lot of places, so because it's so readily accessible, and because I've been known to leave makeup in a hotel room or on my bathroom counter at home, not have it go into my suitcase when I needed to, it's always kind of fun to see what's in the drugstore that if you had to grab something to supplement, you know, what are your options? And frankly, I mean, people right now are being a little more cognizant of what they're spending. It's good to know if there's some inexpensive options out there. So you'll have to let me know what you think of my thoughts on these things, and if you use Physicians Formula. My understanding of the history of it is the guy who kind of came up with it was making a product line for his wife who had super sensitive skin. That's kind of the Cliff Notes version. Okay, so what do I have today? So I do have, and I think I've talked about these before, I just left my Walgreens and know that these are still available. This is the 24 karat, this is a gold collagen serum. This to me is not a serum that's like super emollient, and I've used half of it and it just seems like it kind of dries down really fast. And it's not, I don't feel like this is super moisturizing. It's not like it's an oily serum that has a moisture content in it. It's just collagen. And some people argue, why put collagen on your face? That's not where you need it. You need it internally through vitamins and supplements, and then, you know, that's what's going to help the fine lines and wrinkles in the aging process. So does this work? I don't know. I haven't used it consistently enough. I have used it. Like I said, I've used half the bottle. I'm going to try to get all the way through it, but it's not one that I go, oh my gosh, that's like the greatest thing in the world. I just don't feel like that. Same thing with the 24 karat setting spray, and it's fine. I mean, I think it's I'll use it today when I'm all done, but it's okay. It's not it's not anything that I am so drawn to that I can't not use it. I have the Soft Light. This is a primer as well. It says it's a blurring primer, and I did say that this is still available. For the longest time, I wasn't sure which one of these was causing what almost looked like a separation of a foundation that I actually really like. One of these, whether it's together or whether it's separately, one of these doesn't really seem like it works, and I'm not quite sure which one. I've tried the foundation with just alone, and it seems like it's ish okay. I'm wondering if this primer isn't the one that's causing the problems. So instead of using this kind of all over my face like you would normally do with a primer, I've actually just been kind of using it where I need to sort of brighten up a little bit. We're gonna see if that doesn't help, because I don't normally go like super high with foundation or under eye concealers and stuff like that, because I've got crepey old eyes anyway. Okay, this is something though that I love, and it's been discontinued. I could not find this at my local Walgreens. This is the Healthy Foundation SPF 20. I'm in the shade MC1. And I did buy some off of Amazon because I saw that they were still available, $10 or so for a bottle of this. I actually really like the big doe foot applicator. It's generous, you know, it's got a little scoop in it, and it just seems like it does pretty good. And I just kind of smear it around and then take a brush and, you know, deposit it where I think it needs to go. This, I'm sad that they've discontinued it, but I don't know if they're coming up with a new version, just changing the packaging, or if it's really just gone forever. So I have like a little bit of a stockpile of some. So good luck trying to find it. If you can find it at your local drugstore, you should really check it out if you're not already in love with it as a product. The butter bronzers. These are OG butter. I mean, these bronzers are, they smell like summer to me. I don't know. They're Mura butter, whatever it is. I have the light bronzer and the deep bronzer. In the deep, I used a little bit for some kind of contouring. I kind of bounce back and forth between both of them. If I'm feeling particularly washed out, I might use the lighter to kind of warm up my skin tone a little bit. So we'll see how things progress, whether I need to dip into more of it. I do have the overnight lip thing, and I don't know why it's in here because this isn't going to help me use it overnight. I need to put it next to the bed. So put it over there and then we'll remember. I do have this highlighter. And again, it's the same line as the Mura stuff. It's got the same kind of like stamp in it. And the highlighter itself is just okay. It's very creamy to the touch. And I don't know if it is actually a cream highlighter or not. You can build it up, I think, a little bit if that's really what you're going for. I also have this little kit here, which is a, I think it's a limited edition. This is the Physicians Formula Mura Butter Glow Face Palette. And this has a bronzer, a blush, and a highlighter in it. I'm just gonna double check really fast. Yeah, I think it's the same highlighter. Oh my gosh, it looks like, okay, the shade is, I think, a little bit different than what's in the other palette. It seems like it's a little more gold. And this blush, I think, is, it's awfully shiny, so there's a lot of texture involved in it. I do have a separate standalone blush, and this was downright horrendous on my skin. I actually bought this thinking that I needed a blush. I thought I had one that was like a darker pink. Now I'm wondering if maybe I had this all along and I tossed it because it was so bad. This is the Natural Glow. It says Butter Blush. Because I thought I needed a blush, I bought it off of Amazon, and it is no blush. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna go in 3-4 swipes of it. It's gonna be this one over here if it does focus. That's not a blush. Unless you're Casper, that's not a blush. It's not even, I don't know what it is, but this blush, don't waste your money on this blush. I don't care for this at all. I bought like this kit that had these 3 butter lip products. That's the best way I can say the consistency is they're almost like a stick of butter that you left out for too long. Tastes okay. Not that you should go eating it, but I did buy a kit that had these 3 and they're fine. They're super moisturizing. They're you know, they give you a little bit of a gloss. They don't necessarily stay on too long, but they're like half melty, so you gotta be really careful when you go to put it on that you don't push too hard or anything, because then it'll just kind of get all over the place. And I recently picked up this. This is one of those lip plump potion, and I actually really like it. It says, you know, of course it makes these claims that you're gonna get 3 times the volume. I don't know that I've gotten 3 times the volume, but it doesn't hurt like the Sexy Mother Pucker Soap and Glory one, and it was right down the aisle from it. So this is okay. It's a clear gloss. It doesn't bother me one way or the other. They do tend to still have these 2 palettes though, and this one I think is newer of the 2, part of the Rose collection that came out. This is Rose I'll Play, and I think Tati might have done a video on this recently, and it's okay. You know, if pinks are your jam, this has, you know, half the colors are, actually not half, 1, 2, 3, 4 of the colors are more like a foily shimmer color. You've got a nice, you know, sort of matte vanilla, which is obviously welcome. You've got some kind of, you know, warmer-ish shades and some kind of cooler-ish shades. It's not a bad little palette. If you're in a pinch, this is fine to pick up. However, I'm a real big fan of this one. This is the Tropical Days. I've had this for a while, and this is something that I recently played with, and I thought the eye look that it came out with was just really fun and it blended beautifully. So I'm gonna go ahead and do an eye look with this palette. I know that was kind of crazy to me tell you everything else that's sort of in my collection. Oh, and you can buy these like 3 packs of eyeliners, and I think there's like a glimmer, a matte, and a satin one. And I had the satin one out here handy, so I have the matte left. The glimmer one, I think I might have used it all the way up. So that's what I have. I don't have an eyebrow product, and I don't have a mascara. So I don't technically have a full face, but those are kind of my thoughts on what I do have, and you know, if that helps you and you're looking at things and you're looking at the Physicians Formula section, what can you come up with? This palette. I should have paid more attention to how I was doing it or draw myself a diagram or whatever. So I'm gonna go into a lot of the colors in here. If you guys are interested, you could kind of follow along. Just be warned, I'm gonna go into a lot of the colors in here. It feels awkward not talking, so I'm actually just gonna talk to you guys, if you don't mind. So I didn't use any kind of eyeshadow primer, in case you were wondering. And I actually just really love the way these kind of blend together. But when I put on, sometimes when I put on the darker like crease shade, I feel like I have to kind of go back up over the top edge and sort of buff in that transition shade a little bit more to kind of blend out. I mean, the darker color, that darker brown in here is just super pigmented. So I'm just trying to diffuse that a little bit because I don't want it to necessarily be a harsh line. And it's coming along pretty good now. I was just kind of impressed with how the quality of this was. And I understand why I've been seeing it forever because, you know, if it's a good quality and it's available for, you know, in a drugstore, why pull it off the shelves, you know? I feel like there's an actual, like you can actually see the multiple colors. I'm gonna go back into that sort of lightest, it's not the lightest shade in the palette, but it's lightest shade in this color family. Up above that too. Yeah, so the other day I did like the whole face and I didn't like the way my actual face makeup looked because I felt like that blush, I think it's the blush that was causing me problems, but I just had all sorts of just like horrible texture and I felt like you could see within like an hour it felt like my foundation and I'm guessing the serums and the primer just kind of all separated. It was just the weirdest, kind of like grossest look. I think I used this one right here. And instead of using my finger, I'm just going to take it on kind of a flat brush. I'm just kind of fill in that gap between my lashes and my crease. And I've just recently started kind of not always doing like super dark, although I might go back over it, we'll just have to see. But kind of keeping my crease shade darker and then really kind of playing with these shimmers up against my lash line. And normally I would think anything with, oh, see, I've got some fallout already. Anything with a shimmer, you'd probably want to keep it away from any kind of creasy creepiness. But I think that this almost has a softer look instead of being like overly smoky. So it's a little bit more wearable for daytime. Probably a little bit too much effort for work, but, and I'm just gonna kind of keep buffing as I see I need to here. I feel like that needs a little bit more buffing. And while I feel like this was kind of a lot of steps, I'm just really liking what the end result looked like. Okay, can't remember if I did this sort of matte pinky color. I think I might have as just kind of a base, so I'm gonna go in with that one next. This one right here. And I'm gonna put that over my movable lid, and then I'm gonna top it with the other shimmer. Like I don't know, a less harsh cut crease. Less specific, less, not using any kind of like eyelid primer or concealer to do a cut crease, but I am trying to keep it lower on my movable lid because I want to go back in with this shimmer over the top, but I'm going to use my finger this time because I think it just applies so much better. And sometimes when I use my fingers, and I don't know why, this just feels like it's not depositing quite as much as I thought it should. I'm gonna, every now and then I go back in and just kind of dust off if I've gone too crazy with that shimmer that I'm trying to put on with my finger. I'm feeling like it didn't quite go on as saturated as I want it to, so I'm actually gonna wet down a flat brush. Got a wet brush here, and I'm just gonna use a little setting spray. I'm gonna keep it more towards the front. All right, and now I'm gonna go in with this kind of mid-tone bronzier color and just fill in that space. So I'm torn on these whole eye looks that use a lot of colors and have a lot of steps, because I feel like it's almost a little unrealistic in time it takes, although because these don't really take a lot of effort to blend in, I'm a little bit more apt to use this. I think that this palette could go into, you know, a work travel bag, or I don't know, something along those lines, and travel with you, and I think it would be a good thing to have. I'm gonna go back into this darkest shimmer. The other one's not a shimmer, the one that's right next to it, but this is the darker shimmer. And I want to just kind of build that up a little bit more. You're probably saying, Shell, this is pretty basic, like you're using kind of all browns, but you do have a purple in here, and you do have a blue in here, and you've got a couple, you got like another sort of mauve-y pink that on days that I've worn glasses, I've used like this and this together. I'm gonna go in with the lightest shade. I think this is more of a matte though, but I am gonna use it to kind of brighten up that inner tear duct here. Yeah, I'm kind of at a war between eyeshadows that take a lot of steps, you know, eye looks that take a lot of steps. I think they're just kind of lost on a normal day. Like, why would you go through the effort of doing all those steps when is really anybody gonna notice that you have like the perfect blend? I've literally used 8 shadows, and I'm, you know, could I have created a similar look using like 2? Probably. But how fun is this? Now, I think the one thing I did the other day is maybe I used this kind of rust color here too. Sometimes anything too red looks a little scary. And sometimes it can kind of diffuse the brown eyes. Like I almost would rather use a blue down here. Since we're playing with all these colors, might as well. And then I'm gonna go in with the darker shade, and I am gonna use this on my upper lash line to kind of give some more definition right up against that lash line. And then I will go over the top of it with that eyeliner pencil too, I think. I don't know, is this crazy that this is so many steps for just like a neutral brown, almost basic look? You guys have to tell me. You have to tell me what you think of these mirror. You know what I'm saying, even if I'm not saying it right. You know what, that eyeshadow looks okay. I need eyeliner and mascara. I'll be right back. I have added one of these. I found the one that I was missing. Not the glimmer one, because that one's gone. I think I used the satin eyeliner. It's just brown eyeliner. There isn't anything crazy about the eyeliner, which today I used, I think this is the Marcel, yeah, Marcel Extension Plus Curl. I've had this is old. I think I got a sample of this in like a Birchbox a while back. Either I bought one of these or I saw it, because you know, sometimes you can get Birchbox at Walgreens, and I think that's where I got this. Anyway, it's old. I need to toss it. It's a good mascara when it's newer, but right now it's like, it's okay. I'm gonna give myself an eye infection by throwing on this mascara. I think, you know, I'm kind of picky about mascaras, and I think when this was newer, I was like, oh, this is like my favorite mascara. And right now, it's an okay mascara. I'm gonna toss it. Bye. No, I'm using the lighter bronzer. That blush is just killing me. And even when I use the blush in the little highlighter kit, I think it just wasn't not the right shade for me. It is just not what I'm looking for in a blush. I'm actually gonna use one of these cheek leaders, like the matte cheek leader here. Just a little tiny bit. That looks a little bit better. As I was doing my mascara, I kept thinking I could have gotten this same look from one or two of those e.l.f. Bite palettes for less money. Let me find out how much this palette is, just because inquiring minds want to know. So this palette, Walgreens, Target, 10 bucks, 4.1 out of 5 stars. I like the palette. For $6, you could have gotten 2 e.l.f. palettes, and that would have gotten you, what, 8 shades? This is 12 shades. That's the same price. Three e.l.f. palettes versus one of these. I like the fact that it's kind of separated out by, you've got like a super light neutral, might work well for like work. You've got kind of a warmer tone, and you've got kind of a cooler tone. I like the way this palette is laid out. So out of the 3 sort of lip butter things, I think I went in with the pink color, and now my face is looking warmer. We're layering. Oh yeah, that one's warmer. And it's glossy. It's glossy. It's a little bit warmer. These are fine. I probably wouldn't leave this in my car because it's just gonna get melty and kind of gross. But oh, see, it's almost too aggressive. It's a lot. I'm gonna dry this down a little bit before my battery dies. I think it's mostly dried down. I look a little glowy right now, but I like the way the eyeshadow looked. It's neutral. There's nothing crazy about it. But I think it's pretty. I like the bronzers. I like this palette a lot. I don't care for the blush. I don't really care for the highlighter. I don't really care for either of the primers or the collagen. The setting spray is just aggressive, but I don't see anything bad about it. I do like the lip plumping gloss, but not necessarily for the plumping portion, just because it's kind of a pretty gloss. If you find yourself in need of cosmetics from the drugstore, get you started on some of your Physicians Formula. If you guys have a collection of any particular brand, share them with me, because I'm always excited to try certain brands. I feel like certain brands are kind of meant to be used together. This Physicians Formula, it's kind of hit and miss. I gotta be honest. It's not, you know, I've got some good products that I will keep going back to, and I've got some that I'm just like, eh, I think there's better out there. There's better drugstore out there. I hope this was interesting for you guys. I have a couple other videos that I've kind of have ideas for that are more of the single brand. I'm hoping I'll have better luck where I'll find like a brand and love all of it. But I have a lot of stuff that have come in recently. Some of it new releases, some of it that we just recently went on sale. Here's my thoughts on the Physician Formula. Some of the products are really good. Some of it I just don't really care for. The rose serums, I didn't like that at all. I'm trying to remember if it made me break out. So you guys have to let me know what you think of the Physicians Formula product lines. Do you have this palette? I mean, this eyeshadow palette feels like it's been around forever. And the lip product I'm not upset about. I mean, it's a nudie gloss. So who doesn't love a nudie gloss, right? So, okay, we're kind of looking a little bit basic. It's kind of fun sometimes to do like normal makeup and not always go, oh, hey, here's a Jeffree Star palette, knock yourself out. Although I gotta say, I shouldn't make fun of Jeffree Star, because I actually really want the cremated palette. It's just sold out, and I don't know why people are giving so much hate about it. I mean, he didn't come up with the name because of COVID-19, so cut the guy some slack. Out of all the Jeffree Star palettes, it's probably like the one that interested me the most. I hate to say it, because I know that's a little bit controversial right now, but I'm just gonna tell you like it is, because that's what I do. I'm not a makeup artist. and I don't get anything in PR, so you guys get my honest opinion. If you're new here, hi, my name is Shelly. I would love it if you click the subscribe button, maybe even ring the bell so you get notified. I tend to upload Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 3 p.m. Pacific time, 6 p.m. Eastern. You can also follow me over on Instagram, Shelly Tsunami. I hope you guys have a great evening, and until my next video, bye for now.